Hello, everybody. Do you hear me well? Hi. Yeah, thank you. Well, let's wait a little bit, just 2 minutes, and then we can start, okay? Hello. One minute, not two. Now it's one. I would like to know where you're from in Brazil, or if you're not in Brazil, you just can tell me where you are. Let's interact. Ah, there is someone from Mexico City. That's great. El Salvador. That's great. Wow. So our presentation today will be really interactive. So this interaction with us will be really useful. Okay? So anytime you need to ask, you just write on chat and then we can interact. Okay? So let's begin. I'm Margarete Barbosa, as you know, and hello everybody from Brazil and all over the world. I'm in Bahia, in Salvador, in Brazil, and I'm here to talk about this theme really useful and important, essential today. During this COVID time, we really need to understand better how to engage our students. And this is the focus of my presentation this afternoon, okay? Anytime you just can ask, anytime, and then I can interact and just answer all the questions and whatever may come, okay? So the presentation is about boosting your virtual classroom with engaging and online tools. Okay, I don't know if you know if you read the presentation of myself about myself. I am current the president of Brastiço Bahia chapter, and also a teacher, a professor at UFRB. I teach English and ecology at a federal university in Bahia. And I've been teaching English, wow, it's been a while, for 19 years now. And I was a teacher at the basic, high schools. And for the past 5 years, I am teaching in in the higher education. Okay, so let's talk about how to motivate, engage our students using technology. Yes, I can share, no problem. I don't know if Disal share already, if they put there on the Instagram, or I don't know, but I can share. I'll share my email, my contact, my Instagram account, and you can ask me, okay? Oh, all right, let's go. First of all, when you think about boosting your virtual classroom, I think it's really important if you think about establishing connections, right? It is really important you think about where you want to go, and also think about expanding your classroom. Because if you're using those online tools, of course, you're going further, right? Because you're going to establish connections. As all of us know that when you use this online tool, of course you can see other classes that other teachers uh, they they make available all worldwide, and also you can publish your work, right? And it is really important if you if you think about publishing or share your ideas, opinions. It is This is a great initiative, right? Going global. I would say that internet provides all these great things that we can know about what other teachers are doing with technology and how can we bring this experience into our classroom, right? It's not all about sharing, but also about having feedback, right? And here, um, we can think, of course, about creativity. If you want to add some tools, of course, you are a creative teacher, because if you think creatively, of course, you're going to think about solutions, bring this positive atmosphere to into your classroom. Also, if you see this image that I bring here, you can see about fun brainstorming. You can bring all these things to introduce some tools to your students. It's about creativity too, right? And I can tell you there is a little bit of innovation, because there are some teachers that doesn't know some tools, and it will bring innovation to your classroom. So if you think about bringing different things that you never used in your classroom, of course, you're going to be innovating, right? So if you see this image, you're going to see this growth, idea, vision, inspiration, right? So you're going to be inspired because you're going to bring something different to your students. And then this is the big question. Why using digital technology into your classroom, right? So if you think that you can create a connection and a positive atmosphere, you're gonna think in the right way. Why? Because every time you bring different stuff, bring innovation, your students will gonna say like, wow, this is so nice. It's a new way of learning. It's a new idea. My teacher is connected, because they love when we bring different stuffs, right? So it is something, of course, you can take advantage and bring into your classroom. Other point here is that students can collaborate in an engaged way. Most of all, the technologies, the online tools today, they of course were made to bring this interaction. That's why they are really famous. And I'm going to bring here some of them that I think are really, really being used this time. I think all over the world. I've been talking to some friends in the United States, and they are telling me that they also use some of these tools. Okay. Hi, everybody that is coming. Okay, so if you bring your students into the process, because when you use technology tools or digital tools or online tools, as you want to say, you bring your students to your site. This is another point really important, because your students needs to be motivated. And sometimes we know that motivation comes from inside, of course, but you can bring different things, different ideas, and motivate your students. It's another way of showing a subject, showing something to them. That's why they can collaborate, of course, and they can learn in a funnier way. Okay? It's okay. Uh, Number three, you can help your students to develop digital skills, of course. And this is really interesting because I've been teaching English and also ecology, I told you. And my students always tells me, like, teacher, never did this. I never recorded a video and put the subtitles. I never used this tool. And they are always developing digital skills. They like this. I tell you, there are some students that tell us that no, 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 I don't want to try. But most of them are really willing to try. So we cannot compare our student from one, two, or three. Just make this comparison, not a comparison, right? Because all of those students are really important. And also, we know that we don't have an homogeneous classroom, right? Every student is important. But if someone complains, I think you should not listen to. Because if you say like, "Oh, I don't have internet connection at home, teacher, I don't like doing this," you don't. I think you shouldn't stop doing activities, online activities, because one or two student doesn't like it. I don't know if this happened to you. If you tried new tools, this has happened to you that some students complained about being exposed uh, by new tools. Can you say that? Do you think it's more positive or more negative when you bring different ideas? Yes, some of them, and I think the youngest, they they love this. They are on Instagram, they are all the time on YouTube and WhatsApp, whatever. Yes, and I know that I'm interacting with the chat, right? And I can tell you, some of them, yeah, they some of them complain, right? We know this because everything that we introduce, sometimes they feel like, oh, this is new. I don't want to learn it. I have to take more time to learn. So we know all this talk of our students, right? But I think that it is more positive because while you motivate your students, you are motivating yourself. I tell you this, when I propose an activity, online activity, and I see that it is going well, wow, I just say like, oh my God, I'm feeling motivated to continue to find out new things to bring to my classroom. And we feel motivated too, right? You can also empower students because when your students they try to do a task, and when they complete the task successfully, of course they feel empowered, and you can say like, oh, you did great, you went well. Or if the student couldn't complete, like, okay, just make more effort, you're gonna be great next time. And you always have to motivate them because we know that some of them will never feel comfortable using new tools, right? This is a fact. But I think that if we are there, by their sides, saying, okay, you're going to be great next time, don't give up, I think they will always trust us. They see us teachers as friends, of course. And I think they will feel better when we support them. I think this is a challenge for everybody, even for us, because when we are trying new tools, we are still insecure, right? Sometimes we are insecure, like, oh, I don't know every how do I say that? Every oh my god, I forgot the word. All of this new tool, I don't know how to use every tool, but I will try. And we have to take time to learn, because if we introduce the technology to our students, we are not secure, it will be a disaster. So I tell you this by experience. If you want to do something different, you need to try first. Try to add an other email that you have, to have these two roles, as a student, to see as a student, as a teacher, before you try with your classroom. Because if they feel that you're not secure, you're not going to empower them. No, no, right? So I'm reading here, right? So just I like this interaction. Yeah, English is not a comfort zone for them. That's why they tend to complain for something new. Yeah, sometimes, right? Sometimes. But these after, you're going to see some tools that are really interesting, some tools of vocabulary to try to help them to develop vocabulary so they feel comfortable. I think they will. And also, you can bring motivation to classroom, as I told you, not only for your students, but for you too. In meaningful learning. When you try new technology, new stuff, new tools, whatever, a different game, something different, you're going to bring meaningful learning to them. Because when you try, I think it means that you are trying to be closer. And as we know that our students are really from this digital generation, we have to be close to them. And you can do it when you, of course, use technology. There is no way to escape, right? Today, nowadays, as the word is, during COVID, mainly during COVID, we think we really have to think ahead of time. So try to capture their attentions, our students' attentions, and whatever. Okay? I use technology to motivate myself. Before I think about what I'm gonna do in my classroom to engage my students, I think about myself. Why I want to try this new tool? Why I want to, explore this tool? Why I want to bring it to my classroom? We have we as a teacher, we need to find this motivation, because we don't introduce this technology with this motivation, our student will say like, oh no, it's another thing, it's one other thing, it's not nice. But if you go there and you feel like, wow, we're gonna learn a vocabulary using Quizlet, that we're gonna learn today, talk about Quizlet too. And then, what is Quizlet, teacher? What is this? Oh, we're gonna learn a vocabulary. And you know what? We can create a dictionary, a visual dictionary for you to learn English better. And then they should say, wow, I want to see this. And then, of course, you should find this way to introduce what you want to do with your students. All right. So if we talk about this online tool, we have to contextualize that we are living the education 4.0, right? It is a new education. It is a new way of thinking. You cannot be traditional no more, because nowadays we really need to think about our how can we classify our student in terms of generation. It is a new generation, right? And we say like it is Y generation, where they are native, they are born digital native, right? And we also need to understand that our students are multitask, right? And then we're gonna say like, okay, we can do lots of exercise using different platforms, different websites, different tools. It's up to you. You can try one, but when you see that your student can listen, can write, can watch it, right? Can type, and you want to learn, you want to do differently. You want to say like, okay, I'm gonna use all these tools that I can use. I do this because sometimes they don't like doing recording video, they like recording audio, and sometimes they are more visual, so they want to see the pictures and diagrams, and you have to of course explore every tool. All right. And then this future is here, right? Welcome future. As you can see in this slide, education 4.0 is now. We cannot change this, right? And as you can see in this different level, before a long time ago, it was a different type of education. The one that our grandpa, and our mother, our father, another generation. There is not us because we are not from this generation. We are from the other generation. And education has been, developing, so that's why I tell you, it is really important when you create this culture, this digital culture. Why? Because if you think about how future is now, because you need to be a future teacher, a teacher from the future, but knowing that the future is now. And I can explain more when I use also this. It is not a quote, but a sentence that you can say that education 4.0 is transforming the future of education through advanced technology. And we can see now the 3D printing. What else we can say? The maker culture and artificial intelligence, big data, automation, sorry, robotic systems. So this is part of this future that is, of course, now. New media, new ways of sharing, and also innovation speed, right? And what is our role as a teacher? We need to adapt. There is no way we can not be in this process because we are the mediator. Now we are not the teacher as we were in the past. So we had teachers in the past. We are now teachers that we need to be active and also bring our students into this process. That's why now all this bilingual education, this maker culture is making a great success, right? Because it is something that make our students think about how to do it. The teacher is not the center anymore. It is not the one that pass the knowledge, but is the one that mediates. And it is really important, even when you think about robotic systems that people love, robotic class, programmation class, or whatever, they like this. because our students, they are learning how to do, this universe, so how to create a universe on Minecraft. I don't know which one they will use, like survive in Free Fire or um, other games that they can really play an active role of surviving, right? Okay, and anytime you can put your question and I'll try to answer, or at the end of the presentation I can answer, right? So this is a way, and you know that now we see the focus of education now is to bring this active methodology to your classroom, and think about how can you create a solution in order a project or something that your student can work on a solution. And now I can see it also happening during COVID all over the world, these hackathons. Do you know that? It's not a hackathon. It's a lot of stuff, because this type of activity gives the students the power to decide what to do to solve a problem. And if you think about, of course, a lot of schools nowadays, they work on active methodology, activity teaching. They bring this power to our students, right? And this is really powerful. I tell you this is a word that I love. Empowered, powerful, because when you are positive and you bring this positive atmosphere to your classroom and you say that your student can, right? Yes, you can. And your student will do their best. Believe this, because they will not depend on you. And you have to create this, how do I say that? This atmosphere where your student can walk without you. This is what we call today active methodology. When you bring to your classroom activities that will lead your student to a critical reflection of the reality. And if you don't contextualize, your student will never learn, of course. And now we can see, I'll tell you an example of activity. If you think about this climate changes, if you think about the problem of the plastic pollution, you can try to uh, bring your students into action. Think about a project, think about an activity that you can have a product, because it is all about acting. Your students need to act, to be an active, subject of learning, right? All right. So let's continue. Then I can see the questions. How to innovate your classroom with online tools. This is what we're going to talk about, of course. And I would like to show this tool and then to make you think about how can you bring this experience. And the word here now is innovate. When you try to bring a different thing to your classroom, what do you think first? What is the word that come up to your head when you think like, I want to try something new? What is the word? When you are willing to try something new, what do you want to achieve? What is the first thing that come up to your mind? Curiosity, technology, motivation, fun, change, innovation, communication. the attention of the students, engagement, learning. Yeah, that's perfect. Creativity, right? See that you have a purpose. And also, I want you to think now, how can you change role and be in your student side and think about how would they feel. See, it is different because when you propose something and your student is the one, of course, that will be immersed in the have this immersion using the technology, they will have to understand what you want to propose. And now we're going to talk about some activities and some tools. Do you know Quizlet? Any of you already uses Quizlet? All right, a lot of people know. Yes, you heard. All right, perfect. Okay, so the ones that never heard about Quizlet, never, and you never try it, it is really interesting because you can work on students from primary school and also those from fundamental, right? One and two, and they love it. Quizlet makes simple learning tools that let you study anything. A teacher can create studies, right? A set of studies, and of course, you can list the subjects that your students can learn, right? Learning with flashcards, games, and learning tools. You can create games using Quizlet. I think a lot of people know about Kahoot. I didn't bring Kahoot, right? It is really, really competitive and also it's really fun. But Quizlet, there is a difference. I'm not saying that the Kahoot is not nice. I love Kahoot. But some students, they are really, they know Kahoot and then you have to bring some other tools, you know? And Quizlet is really nice. You can go to Quizlet.com and then you can create a free account. Also, you can pay for the futures. But Quizlet, I want to show you now. You can have all these flashcards if you love working with vocabulary and if they have this they have this need to see, right? Like, is it like a visual dictionary? I love this. And they can create, you can add your students to insert some terms because we work on vocabulary on Quizlet. I'll try to let me try to share my screen just a minute. Peraí que eu acabo. Oh, I'm sorry. I would say like peraí. So use it in Bahia, right? Oxe, gente. Oh my God, I think I did something. Okay, I went back. I'll try to. This is a new tool for me. I never used it. Click meeting. It is this platform that I'm using today. I was trained, of course, but sometimes we forgot some things, right? It's so it's so common. Let me try. Okay, share. I want to share this. I don't know why I cannot change it. Okay, I'll try to. Sorry, guys. I'll try again. Okay. Let me see if I can. Sorry. Um, I just, I don't know how to do it. See, I had a training yesterday. See how our mind is? Sometimes we forget, right? It's normal. I mean, I don't know how to pass to change my screen here. Okay, I see share, right? And I'm trying, but I don't see how to change. Yeah, you cannot be afraid, right? This is the main idea. Okay, you're not getting this. It's okay. Don't be afraid to try again and try again. Right? I'll try to see. See, I have to. I don't know. Is there anybody here to help me? Okay, another thing. Don't be afraid of asking for help, right? You need to ask for help, right? We are not experts in everything. If we are trying, of course, we sometimes we it is not about failing, but we have some troubles. I can share my screen, but it is not I cannot see the other screen. I don't know how to change. Okay. Okay, before trying to solve this problem, we're gonna continue and then I can show you. No problem at all. Okay, I'm gonna bring back my screen, bring my screen back, right? Um, yeah, somebody's here helping me. Just a minute. Okay, I'll try again. Uh, the problem is I have two browser opened, right? And then it just shows one browser, not the other. I don't know how to switch. The thing is how to switch. But anyway, it's okay. I'll try again. Okay, Quizlet, it is really nice for you to use to try to explore vocabulary. And then the other point here, I tried to bring something, but I wanted to show you in real how to create it just quickly, but it's okay. So if you think about climate change, you can see in one side of the card the name, right? Fluctuation. And then when you flip the card, you can see what it is. So this is how you're gonna do with your students, right? You're gonna just ask them to click and then the card will flip, right? And you can see, of course, the back and the front. Frequent regular change, blah, blah, blah. And then you can put pictures too. This is really interesting because now I can tell you this by experience. I'm creating a dictionary of diversity and ecology with my students. And there are, of course, some terms that comes, right, that we are exploring now in our subject. And then if you don't know, you can put here the words that you learned, right? And this is really interesting because you can create a dictionary, a glossary, how do you say it? And your students can all the time come back and review all this vocabulary. And the good thing is that you can give them access. It is like you can create a classroom, and then you share the code, the link, and those who have the link can see the dictionary, right? You can do it. And also, if you want them to add information, you can put them as editors, right? And give them the code to the link, right? And then, as we can see here, this is a feature of this tool. And also, you can create games. I wanted to show you something, but it's okay. I cannot do it now. It's okay. And the other tool I want to talk about is Flipgrid. I love this one. It's perfect. I tell you, we have some students that are really shy, but little by little, you can change the situation. Because if you ask them to try and Flipgrid, uh, the videos on Flipgrid are not longer, right? They're not long. You can use the maximum of 1 minute and 30 seconds of recording, so your students will not complain. Uh, I'll tell you something. This semester, when I was trying to add Flipgrid to one classroom, to one class, and then some students told me, no, I don't want to record anything. They felt shy when I introduced Flipgrid. Then I said, oh, it's a video platform where we will interact through video. I don't like it. And I was, because at the end of the semester, I always share our Instagram account, and I tell them like, oh, how much you use technology. It is not a questionnaire, but I ask some question. How much you use? Do you have an Instagram account? And I was visiting some Instagram accounts, and then I saw a lot of videos. They post picture. Then I said, oh, I think these students will have the profile to use Flipgrid. If you have young students, those that are really young, you need permission of their parents, right? But I tell you, when they are like, even the one they are teenagers, you need permission. But you also you need to explain what is your goal using this activity. I told them that I was trying to make them feel comfortable to talk in English about some subjects. And then, if I can show you here some of them that recorded and said, oh, teacher, don't show this around. But I have a permission of some. They are loving it now. So Flipgrid empowers social learning. It is about social skills, right? When you try to interact using a camera, it is about social skills. In pre-K, of course, it is the intention, so you can use it with your students, even the youngest. 2 PhD classroom, so no limit. So if you have an adult classroom, no problem, right? Around, sorry about the F here, the word use a video the way your students do. So I think this is really interesting because I'll try to see the chat because now it's not here. Okay, now it came back. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. When you use a technology a lot, this happens. It is always something that you say like, okay, I'm gonna use something new, and something will happen. But you shouldn't feel like, oh, something happened. I don't want to use it anymore. No, no, no. Don't feel like this. So this challenge make us feel stronger, right? All right. So, and you can see here, I have an image. I don't know if you can see well, but I was part of the TESOL delegation from Brazil. I got a scholarship in July, and I was part of the TESOL virtual convention. I got a scholarship, and then I was introduced, by the U.S. consulate in Rio de Janeiro. This platform, it was amazing because during the event, and I wanted to do this here with you, but I know that we don't have time to do it. But during the event, my first experience was like this. You have to record all the sessions that you visited, that you were, all the things that you think you would make your professional growth, you know, anything that will come up with ideas for you to bring to your classroom. It was, of course, a group of teachers. This classroom was a group of teachers. And all the time we went to a session, to another session, online session of the event. We had like 4 days of the event, the conference. And then all the time we it was then so natural that I love it, Flipgrid, because when you see other students, I tell you, when you think about the point of view of your student doing this, you're gonna feel like I'm gonna do it. If somebody could, I will do it. And this was like this. Nobody recorded at the beginning, and then one started, and then everybody, like a domino effect, everybody did, right? It was amazing because sometimes we wait for the other to give the first step, and then we go. It is like this, right? It is always like this. Sometimes I love being the first, like, oh, my video will be there. The first was me. But sometimes we feel more encouraged if we see other examples. So when I saw a video, someone recording, and I said, oh, is it simple like this? 1 minute and 30 seconds. And then I said, I'm going to bring this to my classroom. I love this tool. I think if you never use it, Flipgrid, you should do it. I don't think will be negative. Sometimes, even if you have shy students, when the whole classroom begin to record the videos, I think the student will say like, oh, it's only me. I have to do it. And then sometimes we go, not the pressure, right? The pressure, but sometimes you need the motivation to do it. I don't know if you understand what I mean, right? And then I can show you other things. I'll try to talk about Padlet. I know that Padlet is really common nowadays, but it is a great, tool. And sometimes some teachers tells me like, okay, I'm trying new things, but when I reach the limit, they start asking me to pay for that. So Padlet is like this. We have like I don't know if you can create two. I have to see here how much you can create. But I tell you, it is normal. When you love something, you really need to dedicate your time. Everything's paid nowadays, right? It is something that sometimes we do it. And now I have this, I'm experiencing the paid version of Canva, right? I don't know if you use Canva. because some teachers like me, I teach at a federal university, so I promote events too, and I don't have money to pay for all this card of invitation we do, like online to share our event, they sharing right of the image of the event. So I said like I will pay for that because I'm going to learn. So now I do my videos, I do my cards to invite right people to promote events. We start to be like smarter, and I think the power is on our hands, right? Think about this. If you learn a tool and you can feel free to do different stuff in your classroom, of course, people here, you're gonna bring uh, your students to your side, as I told you before, and also they will feel engaged. So Padlet, I had a great experience. I don't know if you use all the features, because sometimes when you use one thing and then we didn't find out about all the great stuff that the app or the platform has. So in Padlet, I was trying to understand how I could like pin every place that you've been through. And then I did a great activity in my classroom, like, have you ever been abroad? Or where did you go in Brazil to a vacation? Or whatever. And then you can have these interactive maps you can share with your students. This was one that I did during an event that I had about uh, 3,000 of teachers, right, in this year during COVID. And then they were putting a pin in your city. Where are you from? Now we could do it, right? And then we have here almost 200 people. We could do it. And then where are you from? Instead of you saying this on the chat, you could put a pin on a map. See how it is interesting the way you present something, even for to us teachers, right? I think that we don't want to be bored. We don't want to be, like feeling that you enter a classroom and you don't feel motivated, because even if you don't motivate your students, because sometimes you can try in one classroom and oh, it was great, students were like I had one classroom that loved Kahoot. They said like, wow, engaging, competitive, it was great. But I had another class that said like, I didn't like it. I think it was kind of something for children. And I said, really? Can you understand what is on your student mind? You will never know. If you don't try, this is my advice for to all of you. If you don't try, you never know. So don't say like they won't like it. I don't want to do it because my other colleague or other friend did this. It was awful. Don't say this, because your experience is your experience, right? The same way I do one way, the other teacher can do another way. It could be greater, better than me, right? You have a way, a feeling. How can you do it in your classroom? Because you know your class, you know your students, and if you don't know, wait a little bit to try. You're not gonna do it in the first day of classroom. Everybody will run away, right? Because they will say like, "Oh my God!" Now you have to get to know them better and then introduce something new. So, from your hobby to your career, your class notes to your final exam, your mood board to your runaway shows, Padlet is perfect when you want to create some panels, right? Or some cards. You can create like a panel, or really panel like this one, right? A virtual one. And then you can bring this to your classroom and say you discuss a theme, you discuss a topic, and then you say like, okay, I want you to do something like this. A panel putting all your ideas into visual. It is really much better than you use a pen and say to your students, write about your ideas. This famous brainstorming, right? You can do a virtual brainstorming. Okay, put into action, put into visual, and your students will love better. Okay? Uh, some people are saying, yeah, five different ones. Thank you. The Padlet. Sometimes I forget because I use a lot of stuff, right? And then also in Padlet, as here you can see, you can use notes, right? A lot of pins also notes, and then another thing, oh my God, we're running out of time. When we talk, the thing, no, time is running out. Okay, you can go to Padlet.com. Before, when in the last minutes of my presentation, you're gonna see my email or my Instagram. I can put there on my link, my bio link. Okay. And here I brought something. This is why I brought these things on my presentation, right? Sometimes you cannot show live, but you can also show something, right? And in this slide, you can see like a book review. I love this. This is really interesting because you can work on this kind of activity and ask your students to make a review about a book, about a novel, about a film, a movie, about a series, anything. They love it. I tell you this, I do this with my classes, and sometimes they are like, oh, I'm gonna write in English. And I tell you, if your students doesn't write in English, let's talk about public schools. If your students doesn't write in English, doesn't knows a little bit of English, you can mixture, right? And say, okay, you can put the topics in English and explain in Portuguese. You can mix these two languages, right? I don't think you should do all in Portuguese because we have to all the time stimulate our students to think about English, right? Okay, so we have some minutes. Oh, don't thank me now. It seems that you're gonna leave. Don't leave yet. Okay, I'm gonna see the question just a little bit, and then I'll show you. So you can put images, videos, anything. It is really nice. You know what I do? Sometimes, as I know the Padlet has a limit to be used, I create other accounts. Everybody does this, right? I don't pay for everything. We cannot pay for everything, of course. I don't do this because we as teachers, we always try new things. So if you have one, two email, create two accounts. This to try to have this free resources, right? And then another great tool is Pinterest. I tell you, you can use it. It is really, really interesting because you can use it to show exhibition, to do something chronological, visual, of course. It is about images. I brought some tools that you can work on video or images, right? And also Padlet, I was forgetting, you can record the audios too, and Quizlet too. And when you put there on Quizlet the word and on the back the definition, you can also record the pronunciation. You go there, you click, and you put like the pronunciation. So the student goes there and The student goes there, see the visual, and also can hear. See and also hear, right? Yes. I'm gonna answer some of them. And Pinterest, I tell you this, you can have, see, I can ask for a subject. Okay, go to a museum, go to a place. Let's talk about the place. So I brought here Tower Bridge. There is in London. Uh, it is in London. So you can show them and try to talk about artists and places. And also, this one I'm gonna be uh, quick, so quick because I have. I'm gonna have. They say that I have 10 more minutes, so I can answer some question. This tool is really interesting because you can have like digital storytelling. It's powerful visual communication. I tell you this, our students are they don't want anything more to write, to use books. You, of course, you have to use book into your classroom, in your classroom. And also some books that are really the ones that are more recent, they have like some activities with links that you can go further, the students can research, but you can also use this tool thinking about any kind of subject. If you want to explore grammar, if you want to explore culture, if you want to explore anything, you can do it, right? And this, yeah, this I wanted to show, but we don't have time. But it is like a storyboard. You can do a storyboard creation with your classroom. You can divide it into groups of 5. I think if you have 1, 2 students, you shouldn't use, because the more students you have, like about 5, the better will be the story. So a lot of the minds, different ideas, working on a story, it's great. So I love working with large classrooms. So if you think about public schools, and I saw a question here before, earlier, when someone said something like this, if the school doesn't have access to internet. So I tell you, even the universities, federal universities, sometimes we don't have access to internet. And there are some classes, right? We have there where I work, I have like 4 buildings. And in one building, we don't have internet connection because the internet is not so good. So I use my internet, my 4G, from my cell phone, and then I can have a hotspot to pass my internet. And sometimes the teacher has to be like, have to donate something, help your students. I don't see, like, if you don't have how to use the internet of the place, I don't see like you never try to use anything. You gotta think about it. You have to ask you this question. I can do in some classes, some activity. We're not going to use the technology in every classes because sometimes we cannot use. We don't have internet or other stuff. But we have to think about this. Why not to bring my internet, right? To try to share my internet to my computer, of course, not with the students, because you can show your students and you can do some activities. And in some schools, we do have internet, even the public schools. I don't know if in all schools in where you are, I don't know, because in Bahia, we have some schools that has internet and they don't share with the students. But I think you can do something. At least you can introduce the activity, you can show what you want to do with your students, because I know that these students will use the internet when they go home or they go to a place. We know that in public schools Some students doesn't have how to afford other material, but they have a great phone. There are some research that shows that in some public schools, a lot of students have smartphones. So this is a tool that you can use. You don't need to download the app, but you can use it through a browser, right? Okay, sorry. Let me just put the last slide. You can write. You can take note about my email. So I think the point here to not to end our discussion, because we can discuss in another space, right? We can talk and then share experience, but students develop new skills and constant knowledge. I think if you connect your students, and if your students can see their product, see their sorry, their panel, they can watch their video later on, they will really have this constant knowledge. They can go there, and in 1 month access again the content. They will always be in constant knowledge if they want, of course. And then this is my email. This is my Instagram account, megan.elt. And I want to talk about, in this final moments, I'll see here the questions, right? I think I can answer 2 questions. Thank you for your present, or for your presence here, right? Thank you so much. If you think about oral tests, I think you can. There are some. We don't have like a lot of tools, but you can create. I think a great way you can create a way in Google Classroom. You can use a lot of activities from podcasts too. I don't know how would you say there is a oral test, because I don't know what kind of oral test, like the teacher asking the students, or something there is there and the student starts speaking. I don't know in which way, but I tell you, you can also use, I couldn't bring this tool, but you can use, I use a lot, some in Google Drive. You can put some files, and you can also record, your students can record something and put there. This is another this is another topic for another day. And I don't know if you know Brestiso, and you can see this on my screen, Brestiso Bahia chapter. Brestiso is an English teacher association in Brazil. In the United States, we have TESOL. In other countries, we have Euro TESOL, and in different names, right? TESOL for teaching English for speakers of other languages, and we have Brestiso in Brazil. All of you are welcome to be part of this community. You can access brestiso.org.br, and know more about how to be part of this ELT community. Okay? And so we can see here on the screen, Brestiso, see? .org.ba. This is BR, sorry. BR is the website of Brestiso National. And if you want to check our events on brestiso.ba on Instagram, you can see it. So I have 2 minutes. I think I can answer one more question. Let me see here. So I talked about active learning, some, yeah, so, okay, okay. So if you think about not using internet and using digital tools, you can try to see how can you transform your classroom into gamification. This is another thing, right? We don't have time to explain, but you can have a way to do it without internet. I'm trying to see. Some people are asking me. I cannot. I'm trying to share here. I don't know what is happening, but it's okay. Let me go back to my presentation to end our discussion this afternoon. Okay. Yes, I would say that some people are asking for free online tools. All of these are free online tools. If you want to go deeper, use some other features, you have to pay for something. But you can use it for free your whole life, right? And some people are asking here about Moodle. You can use Moodle tools, right? And you can a Moodle platform. There is Moodle.org. I don't know if it is free because I use the Moodle of my university. UFRB has a Moodle platform, but free apps. A lot of apps are free until they offer some other stuffs, right? So. um all I have to tell you is when you try to subscribe to a platform or to an app, whatever, when you subscribe, it will tell you if you are if it is free or not. Okay, so I don't know all of the apps or platforms, but one thing I do is to try. So I see that I can Google it. Like I want to work on podcast apps, and then I try to do something. And I love working on podcasts. I would tell you, if you want to work on listening and oral skills, speaking skill, podcast it's a great tool. You can make your students record some subjects, some topics, explain something. It is really uh, interactive because your students can go there, listen to the other, and you can publish or ask them to improve pronunciation. And then, no, we're gonna redo it again, something like this. The Yeah, so that's it. I hope you liked it, my presentation, and I hope I could bring some new ideas. And the main purpose here is to tell you that you have to try new things. Don't be afraid. Don't say that your students won't like it until you do it. Just try it. Even if your students say, like the whole class say, no, we don't like it, but you try it. So being an innovative teacher depends on you, right? So bye bye, everybody. We have to end. It is our limit, right? Thank you so much. Just write me an email, follow me on Instagram, and then we're going to talk more about this. Thank you so much. Bye bye.